Alright. Hello everyone and welcome to this practical on computer forensics, which is as per the Mumbai University's MSc syllabus. We'll be doing practical number 2, that is using access data FTK or using forensic toolkit. Uh, forensic toolkit is a software that has been developed by access data, and with that you can perform different sort of forensics analysis. So when I start the forensic toolkit, and this is the basic this is the how the basic interface which you will get to see. You need to click on, when you start it up, it'll give you different option. Like for example, right now I'm starting a new case. I'll select start a new case and I'll click on the OK button. Once I finally click on the OK button, I need to enter the investigator's name. I need to give a case number. Let's say I'm giving a case number in the format of the day, the month, and the date, and I'm specifying the case number as 001. And let's say I'm giving this as an FTK demo, and I want my cases to be stored in my cases folder. When I click on next, it'll ask me different agent, it'll ask me different forensic examiner information. Let's say companies ABC, examiners, LF, and I can have a lot of information filled up over here. When I come to case log option, the case log is basically, it's like an event log. If you look at the screen over, it has different events which can be logged into the case log file. For example, I can log events related to case, I can log error messages, I can even log any sort of events relating to when I'm creating a bookmarks, or if I'm doing a search, or if I'm doing data carving, internet searches, other sort of events. Finally, when I'm doing the evidence processing, I need to perform different sort of processes over there. If you see over here, I have options for doing the MD5 hash, for doing a SHA-1 hash. I can also have the integration with the KFF, or that is the known file filter lookup. The entropy test is, you can use the entropy test to determine whether a file, whether if you're having an unknown file, you can find out whether the file is compressed or encrypted. If I'm doing full text index, which allow me to do searching of maybe a keyword, for searching the keyword in the file content, as well as searching for file name matching that keyword. Store thumbnail will allow me to maybe create and store different thumbnails if I'm having different graphics file in my forensic image. Decrypt EFS file will allow me to have the decryption of any sort of EFS type of encrypted files. The decryption only happen provided I know the password about it. If file listing database tick mark, it'll automatically create an Microsoft Access based database containing a list of all the files in my case. If I tick mark HTML file listing, it'll create a HTML based listing of all the files. Data carving will try to search in the free space and I'll try to create the different files over there. If I click on carving options, I can carve files such as BMP, GIF, JPEG, PNG, and any other sort of files. Registry report will generate common sort of reports relating to a registry doing the pre-processing. I can refine my case into much more detail. I can display different sort of file status criteria. I can have file type criteria to be displayed, like I found to display documents, spreadsheets, and stuff. Now after when I come to the evidence part, I need to add the evidence. I add the evidence by clicking on the add evidence button. For example, right now I have an evidence file that is called as precious. I already have an acquired image of a drive. I will select the acquired image of a drive and I'll click on continue, and I will browse for my acquired image and I'll open it. And let's say I'm giving it a name as precious fi, and I'm giving this number E001 as the evidence identification number. If you see over here, it'll start showing me the evidence. It shows me that it is having two things. It is having an NTFS type system and it's also having some unpartitioned space. When I click next, it is giving me a total summary of what the different items, the evidence items, as well as different process to perform. When I finally click on finish, it'll start processing and doing the analysis on top of the forensic image. This analysis can take some amount of time depending upon the size of the forensic image. If you see right now, it is giving me a elapsed time over here, and it is doing the indexing and filtering and analysis of the different contents of my forensic image named as precious.img. Now I'll let this finish further on, and I'll get back to you when the entire processing has finished. If you see right now, it is now performing the data carving up. It is now performing data carving on the various sort of files which you can find, the JPEG files, BMP files, PNG files, and more. Alright, my entire analysis has been completed. If I look at the interface right now, the interface now gives me a total overview. I have 6 tabs on top: overview, explore, graphics, email, search, and bookmark. The evidence items, if I click the overview, is giving me a total overview of everything. Like for example, I know that there are 312 documents in my forensic image. Similarly, there are around 1255 graphics files over here. There are 82 email messages which it has detected or found. And there are around 55 archive based data. There is some free space or slack space. In the recycle bin, there are 6 files. There are around 19 encrypted files. If it has found any sort of unknown type, it will show different unknown file types over here. If I look at the interface more in detail, the screen is divided into 2 sections. Screen is divided into 3 sections: the overview tab, the overview selection, the preview of the item, and the file listing below. If I click on any file below over here, a preview is shown above over here. If I look at the preview, I have different sort of formats which I can view it. I can view it in native format, I can view it in a filtered textual type of format, I can view the files in a raw format, I can view the files in a hexadecimal format as well. And if I don't want to view a preview file, I can select on don't view files. If I go to explore tab allows me to explore the image in detail. I can say I can go to document settings, I can go to the use of roto baggins, and I can go and check what is present on his desktop. Like I can click on this link. I can see that this link is a shortcut to the Trillion program located in his program file, and this Windows was on the D drive. If I scroll down, I can see what is the volume serial number, I can see what is the size of it, and I know that this file was created on the 24th of June 2004. Similarly, if I go into my document and say, let's say if I'm going into my pictures, this will show me a different sort of pictures in that documents. Like I can see these are all of the pictures in that folder over there. If anytime I want to bookmark an item for my review down the line during the investigation, I can right click on the file and I can select the option of creating a bookmark, where I need to give a bookmark name. Let's say I'm giving a bookmark name as images. I want it to add the files and I wanted to add the bookmark into a report. If when I'm creating the report, if I want to export the files from this forensic image and display the files in the report folder, I can tick mark on the export file and it will export the files as well. Let's say if I want to select more, I will right click, I will I already created a bookmark, so now I just need to select on add to bookmark. When I select add to bookmark, you can see all of these files are displayed over here, and a bookmark name is below, displayed below. I'll select my bookmark and I'll click on OK over there. If I want to export an image, I can right click on the if I want to export any file, I can right click on the file and I can say export file, auto file, and I can give the destination part. Let's say I want to export this to my desktop, and if I go right now, this file should be on the desktop. If I do not want to view the file in the inbuilt viewer, but I want to view the file in a detached viewer or in an external program which is installed on your system, I can select the launch associate program, which will then pass that file into which will then pass the file and let that file and will pass the file, and the file will then open in the supporting program in your system. For example, in the XP installation, there is the Windows Picture and Fax Viewer. You may have a program like Irfan View. If it's a Word file, it will then open it. If it's a Word file, it may load the file inside of Word and display the file open in Word. If I go into graphics will give me a more thumbnail type of view of the data. I can see the entire thumbnails on top, and I can scroll and I can view the different items below. If I go into email will show me any sort of email the system has found in the forensic image. This can include emails in Outlook Express type of files, or it can include email which are found in Outlook based PST files. So I can go into the inbox and I can see that this message is there in the inbox over there. If anytime I want to search for some file, I need to go on the search tab. In my search, there are two types of searches: there are index search as well as a live search. Index search, if I type any keywords over here, it'll just search in the index content over there. Let's say I am searching for something like a ball. Right, I will add it and I will view the files. So there are 7 hits and 6 different files that are containing the word ball over there. If I want to do a live search can be done on two types of things. I can do a live search on textual based content, or I can do it on a hexadecimal based content. Let's say if I'm doing textual based of searching for ball, it'll, because it's a live search, it's gonna take some amount of time to go through all of the files and to return the results over there. And if you go to see, because I specified ball and the live search, it is even retrieving file that are having it is having the entire, it is having, if ball is a substring. For example, here if you see, there's a word called balloon, which ball is a substring of. If I want to search for files on the base of hexadecimal data, for example, if I am having a header ffd8 ffE0 is a file header of JPEG files. If I add this right now over here and I search this, it'll return to me or show me all the different image based files whose header is matching as ffd8 ffE0. Just close this. This is my ffd8 ffE0 query. If you see, this is an image file. If you go to see, the starting of the image file is having ffd8 ffE0, which means this is my image. If I go and see the ASCII part of it, GFIF means this is a JPEG image. Similarly, I can search for files that are ending with FFD9, where FFD9 is the terminating hexadecimal character. If I search maybe another file and I click on the next file, you will see all of these files are having a JPEG header that is starting with FFD8 FFE0. If I go to my bookmark tab, but bookmark tab will show me a different sort of images which are present over here. For example, I have add bookmark these few images over here. If anytime I want to remove this from my bookmark, I can select the remove this file from the bookmark option. If I go and explore the menu bar on top, file menu lets me create a new case, open existing case. If I want to add more evidence to this, I can select the add evidence option and then add a new evidence over here. If I want to view the disk on a very hexadecimal level, I can use the disk view and I can find different sort of data. For example, if in this I want to find out where is my different JPEG files on the basis of hexadecimal values or of its header, I can click on find. Let's say I'll paste the header back again and I am searching for hexadecimal, and let's say I want to search it from the beginning of the file. If I click on file, you can see that this is my image header. This is my image file. My image file is beginning from here. If you see over here, this is your image file and this is a JPEG file. If I select the file, if I keep on selecting the rows over here, I know that the files always terminate with a hexadecimal value of FFD9. If you go to see on the right hand side, there are a lot of garbage value which is being displayed. This is the contents of the JPEG file. Anytime if you come across lots of zeros, that indicates empty space or file slash space over there. So let's say if I keep on scrolling down below over here, somewhere down the line my image file will terminate. If you want to select files, one shortcut you can do is using the shift key and using the page down button to move through multiple pages of text. If you go to see, FFD9 is the end of my file, and directly after FFD9 there are a lot of the zero values. These zero values are free space, that is meaning my file started at the starting position and is now ending at FFD9, and this entire selected portion is one single JPEG file. Let's say if I want to export this, let's say if I right click on it and I select save selection, and let's say if I give it as extracted .jpeg, and if you see, I have done a manual data carving on the data. I've extracted the data and I'm now able to view the image which was there in that data. If I want to backup my case, I can select the backup case option and I can take a backup of the entire case to protect myself in case if the maybe if the system goes down or if my data gets corrupted. This will only do a backup of the currently open case. If I worked with maybe 10-15 cases, this option will not back up all of those other cases, it will only back up the current open case. If I go into view tab, I can view different sort of thing. I can launch viewers, I can view file sectors, I can find on disk. If I go to tools menu, I can view different sort of thing like file property. Like for example, I have this funny book.jpg open, and this is the property of that file. I can see that what is the part of that file. I can see what is the extension, what line number it is, what is the size of it, what are different attributes of it. If I go to file source information, it will give me source information about it. Was it deleted? Is it in recycle bin? I can see what is the hash value, what is the hash value of MD5 and SHA-1. I can see what is the header for what is the file header of it. And if I look at case specific information will tell me about what option which I tick mark when I was adding the evidence. For example, I tick mark about doing MD5 hash and SHA-1 hash. I had selected about indexing over there. Also, because I do not have the KFF filter installed because this is a demo version of Access Data FTK, the KFF was not done on top of it. If I go into view case log will show me the entire case log file. If let's say if I'm scrolling right down below over here, I know that some time ago I had taken a backup. I had done a search for a file header. I had done a query, a hexadecimal query for FFD8 FFE0, where there were around 1695 hits and it had found 993 files. If I want, I can add an update to this case entry. For example, I can go to tools menu, I can select add case log entry, and I can say for example case ended today. I can click on OK. So if I go and view the case log again, the comment which I just now entered will now be displayed below. Case ended today, case log entry by the investigator name and the time and date. Alright, now let's say for example if right now I want to create my report. To create a report you need to run the report wizard. You will go to file menu, you will select report wizard. Report wizard, you can include investigator information in the report or not. I'll click on next. I have different options. Do I want to include a bookmark session? If I'm having a bookmark session, do I want to include all of my bookmarks, or do I want to include only bookmarks which are marked in the include in report section? If I'm having a thumbnail, do I want to have the thumbnail of my bookmark graphic? Do I want to export full size graphics and link to them? If I'm looking at file properties, how do I want to display the file property to be included in my report? When I'm looking at graphic thumbnail, how do I want to display the graphic thumbnail in the report? Do I want each thumbnail to be along with the file part, or do I want to have 6 thumbnails on top and the file listing below? If I'm listing the file part, how do I list it? Do I list it from the root to the subfolder? If file property listed, whatever property should be displayed over there. When you're doing forensic analysis, there may be time that you may have supplementary files. For example, you may have something like maybe a scan of a warrant, or maybe scan of maybe some sort of evidence form. You can select the add file option over here and add the various supplementary files. For example, let's say I'm adding the zebras file as a supplementary file over here. If you want to include a case log in the report, you need to tick mark this. It then asks you for storing the report. By default, it creates a report folder inside of your case folder and stores the report over there. When I click on finish, it'll then generate the report and allow me to view the report. If I click on view, this is my entire FTK report. If I see left hand side, I'm having case summary. I can have a file overview. This is the base. This is the same thing as the overview screen in FTK. I can view the evidence list that I have one evidence called as precious, which had NTFS partition as well as unpartitioned space. If I look at supplementary file, I had added my case log file, and if you can see here, my last log entry also present over here, and also including the HTML based file listing. There's also an attached Microsoft Access database which is openable in Microsoft Access. If I look at bookmarks, I can have bookmarks which I had a bookmark named images. If I click on images, you can see that I'm having different images over here. I'm having the metadata or data about the images, and I'm having a thumbnail below it. If I click on this thumbnail, it'll directly take me to the uh, larger size of the image. If, for example, if I had something like a PST file, I could even attach the PST file by doing the add evidence item. Select the add evidence item, going to add evidence, and I could just select add evidence, and I could select the individual file and then browse for the individual file over here, and select the PST file, and the PST file will then be attached over here. So if I go to see a total overview of using FTK, FTK can is if you look at an overview of what we have done in this video, I have covered multiple practicals of access data FTK. I have covered the practical of using forensic toolkit. I have also covered a practical of using email forensics tool and writing reports using FTK, which is present in the practical list of the Mumbai University's MSc IT syllabus.